Welcome to Flip Your Chips. Let's grow.
Hey, well, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Welcome to Flip Your Chips podcast. Here's not just about the ROI in dollars, but also your ROI in life. Achieving one without the other is like a half flip coin. We're here to bridge the gap, offering tips, tools, and resources in finance and entertainment. Let's flip those chips and make every investment count. How you feeling today, sis? Are you feeling hydrated like me?
I'm feeling wet.
Let's get it.
I'm feeling wet. I'm feeling
Yeah.
This episode of Flip Your Chips is brought to you by the best drip Tide Water H2O. How am I feeling? I'm feeling vegan because I'm not in this Kendrick, Drake, and J. Cole beef anymore. Like, I was trying to duck her. You see what I did there? Yeah, I'm feeling real out the
Get
way.
Away from the beef. I feel you.
Yeah, like I heard somebody was like, "Yo, you heard Drake and Kendrick dissed you?" I'm like, niggas ain't don't want no smoke with me. I'm plant-based. I don't do beef. You feel me? So, but no, I'm straight. What about you?
I'm good, man. I feel rejuvenated. I feel energized, and I'm excited about this upcoming week. So I'm good, man. I can't complain.
You got something good? What is it specifically that you're excited about? You got something you can talk about, plans, or you just like looking forward to the week in general?
So in the midst of like, and we're gonna get into this a little bit more as we get through the show, but in the midst of kind of having like a little setback last week, I found something that's like adding to what is already added to the Blue Chips Academy, but it's going to make it like 5 to 10 times better. So
okay, so we're gonna talk. Okay, so you're gonna give a brief during. That's gonna come during Tikoon Rich?
Yeah, we'll talk about it during that time.
Okay, well,
yeah. So don't let me forget it.
I won't. Okay, don't let you forget that. Talk about that. All right, I'm gonna try not.
All right, so tell us about the Tikoon tips of the week. Talk to us.
Man, today's Tikoon tip is to chop wood and carry water. And I want to ask you, when you hear that, like, what you think? I never done this before. You always hit me with the psychological.
Yeah.
But
chop wood and carry water. It seems like you're kind of eliminating all the heavy stuff, and you're pretty much carrying the stuff that helps you flow in life, that gets you to the next level. That's my first perception of it, but break it down for me.
I like that. That's a very interesting, it's like even when you're at the airport, like when you ever see somebody checking a bag in and it's just like, bruh, you got way too much in that bag. Like we take on thought about it from that perspective, but it's a Zen Buddhist quote. I had heard Kyrie Irving say it in one of his press conferences. They were asking him, what's your strategy for your game right now? Like, how are you performing at such a high level? He was like, I'm just chopping wood and carrying water.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, I know this nigga, that's not like how they working out. Like niggas ain't just like chopping wood, carrying water. But when I sat back with it, I had to go research it. And it's basically like put your head down and do the work and be in whatever you're in. So for example, if you're in the gym, like even what I do to myself, I've been doing this for the past week or two now. Like all throughout the day, I'm saying to myself, chop wood, carry water, chop wood, carry water. To me, that's just get straight to it. Don't get the hard stuff over with, like lock in. That's like, I'm locked in, I'm training in whatever capacity. So I had told my granddad, he asked me the other day, how's your day going? What you been up to for the day? I'm like, just chopping wood, carrying water. He said, you got a new job? Like, why are you doing some grand? I said, you always doing something. I ain't know if you manual labor. I said, no, it's an expression. He said, damn, nigga, just tell me what you're doing. I'm like, all right. But
how you gotta have me thinking about everything?
Yeah, he said, I'm thinking like, since when you chopping wood and carrying wood? Where are you chopping wood in California? I'm like, yeah, but that would be my Tikoon tip, to chop wood, carry water. And that's what I've been on, and I've seen how much more intentional and how focused it's been. So yeah, you already know what I did with that. But what about you?
Yeah, I'm not an intentional word. Yeah.
What about the flip your tips? What we got today?
Okay. So flip your chips tip. Measure the right metrics, right? So typically, and this is something that honestly was kind of an epiphany for me, is typically we get caught up in measuring, okay, was it a winning day, losing day? How much profit did you make? How much did you lose? But the real metric is your execution. are you executing your strategy, your rules, your plan to a T? Like if you was to grade yourself on that, would you give yourself 100% accuracy, 80% accuracy, 60% accuracy? What does that look like? And when you focus on measuring your execution, the other stuff is just byproducts of that. So if I'm doing a great, yeah, go ahead. Because
I
I
was
want you
gonna
to
say, honestly, what you're saying is what I said with chop wood and carry water. It's the same thing, but just like that's your tip, that's my tip. You said focus on the execution, which means with chop wood, carry water, that's almost like a reiteration, like just focus on the work, not the results. Like just keep showing up. And they keep asking Kyrie, he's not thinking about anything specific. He's like, I'll just keep dribbling with my right hand. Like I'm gonna just keep doing it. I don't care how tired I am. I'm just gonna do it. Like I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna make this. So I just, that's crazy.
Yeah. And it's crazy because the execution part of it, so anybody can go to the gym and do a workout, right? But if you're looking for a specific type of goal, you have to have a specific type of workout. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And a specific type of work ethic approaching that. So like you said, showing up, doing the work, but do the right work, do the right type of work so it can get you to that place that you're ultimately wanting to be.
Like if you want to strengthen your core instead of like, don't work out your back, like it, like
why you don't, if you want to strengthen your core, why you doing squats? You see what I'm saying? Right. Like, so yeah. So
I got a question that example that I just said, like, how does that translate to Blue Chips Academy? Like if you're telling somebody like, make sure that you're doing the right type of workout, like if you want core, like what is the right type of, how does that translate to like the Blue Chips Academy? Like, is there, are you basically saying like, is there a specific muscle or focus that you can work? Like, could you break that down? So
I love it. That's a great question. So the strategy that I teach in Blue Chips Academy, the augmented multiplier, and there's 4 steps. And so execution is checking off each of those 4 steps before you get into a trade. Okay. So if you're measuring your execution,
like finding the key
line, checked off all 4.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. That's one.
So if I checked off all 4, my execution is at 100%.
Okay.
If I only did 3 out of the 4, now I'm down. You see what I'm saying? So that's what the measurement would be as far as with the binary options, Blue Chips Academy.
Okay, I like that. Oh, I had a great question. I felt like it was a great question. I'm like,
it was. You always have great questions. So let's get into it so I can ask you some great questions about the mogul moves.
All right. The mogul moves brought to you by your favorite mogul task Tikoon. So today's mogul move is shout out to Slutty Vegan Pink owner Pinky Cole, Slutty Vegan founder Pinky Cole Hayes. Gifts $8.9 million to Savannah State University graduates. This gift in partnership with Operation Hope and 1 Million Black Businesses, aka 1MBB, aims to support entrepreneurial starter pack. This initiative will provide students with mentorship, 1MBB educational resources, and an 8-week small business course training covering business plan development and financial management. We talked about her on she was another mogul move like a few weeks ago, and shout out to Pinky. I have this song called Intentions that I dropped probably sometime last year. And I think the last bar is like, love how I'm undefeated. There's no competing. No, how I said, girl, let me know what's the line? I said, give me that. Oh, I said, I love how I eat it. I'm undefeated, my slutty vegan. It was like, it's a very sexy song or whatever. So at the end, it was like, a double montage where I'm saying, you my slutty vegan, but I'm trying to eat you, whatever type time. And I remember when I dropped the song, they reposted it. Shout out to Slutty Vegan. You said you went to the one in DC. They got one in DC. I went to the one in Harlem. They got one in Atlanta. They're expanding. And I remember Pinky and her whole team reposted my song, and they was like, when are you dropping the video? Right. And I was like, because in my head, I'm thinking about this slutty vegan burger coming out on that part of the song. So I just wanted to put that out there. Check out my song Intentions. Make sure you check that out. Shout out to Slutty Vegan. Definitely. Shout out to Pinky Cole. But what you think about that? Like, it's always a woman doing some boss shit, yo. Like,
I'm telling you, every time we sit around. So I think for me, a lot of people, especially in this era, have like that entrepreneurial spirit, you know what I mean? But having the resources and the guidance is what takes you and separates you from everybody else. Like what puts you to make you a real entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. And to be able to provide that to, young entrepreneurs, I think that's a powerful thing. Because imagine if we had that when we were doing Ancestors, like,
what? And it's almost like us going back to Howard. We HU, you feel me? And we go back to Howard and we do the same thing, because she went to Savannah State and she just reinvested in that. And it's like, we were talking about that, off air a little bit earlier about giving back. And I think that when you put your money where your mouth is and you invest in the future leaders, I think even since the pandemic, like, I know she's been an entrepreneur, but she started off with a food truck and she had just did a post like how it's versus how it's going. And it's inspirational, because I feel like to be honest, a lot of our mogul moves, even though they're celebrity entrepreneurs, like celebrities, like it's very entrepreneurial. It ain't just somebody I'm never giving like somebody got a record deal. It's usually someone's innovative idea did something groundbreaking and as an entrepreneur. So no, you're absolutely right. And I think that what we're doing with Flip Your Chips and the Blue Chips Academy coming down the pipe, we're gonna be able to have some scholarships and programs and different things to give back to those people.
And that roadmap is important, because it's like, when you first start out, you're trying to figure literally everything out. Okay, I got to do this. Now I got to understand what this means. I got to do this. Now I got, so it's just so many hats that you have to kind of fill. And having the roadmap or the guidance already there just escalates everything, in the process. So yeah, that's a great tip, man.
Yeah, well, speaking of shout out to Pinky, fellow Tikoon, you dig? So I want to know what you know what I'm saying, Tikoon Rich, let's update us on the Tikoon Rich segment. What you got today, sis?
Yeah. So this past week, as I always say, I try to be as transparent as possible and accountable as also. So this past week wasn't a good week trading. I'm just keeping it a buck, right? But in the process, I realized that how essential pivoting is. But you can't pivot unless you're intentional about tracking your results, okay? And when we get into like more specifics of that, that's pretty much like I mentioned earlier, tracking your execution along with like your actual results as well. And so there's two different indicators, and this is very significant when it comes to trading. You have different indicators that help you figure out what type of trade you want to make. But in a general sense, the lagging indicator and the leading indicator. So the lagging indicator is your results, like what you want to do by the end of the week. The leading indicators is what are you doing on a day-to-day basis to get you to that end goal. And so because I track all of my trades and I record every trade, I was able to go back and analyze my first intention was to figure out what I was doing wrong. Then I realized that there were some other nuances that I wasn't aware about. And because I was able to be intentional about that, I was able to recognize the problem. And now the exciting part of it is I'm going to be adding a bot to the Blue Chips Academy, which will give students an automated system that will give them a lot of direction when it comes to taking certain trades. So they won't have to just try to figure everything out on their own. They'll have a lot of guidance with that. So,
nigga, I didn't know you make robots. Nigga said I'm about to make.
No, I don't personally make robots. Okay. No, but throughout doing the research and everything of trying to figure out how to improve the course, that kind of fell on my lap. So I'm like, now we need to add this because that's going to be a great resource for the students.
You know what I love about, I think for one, I admire, I always say my best ability is vulnerability. I admire how honest and transparent and vulnerable you are about how the week went, because it's not like we here to just take W's all the time. That's the goal, but sometimes when you take a L, you get a lesson, and then you doing. I love that. The one thing I really want to highlight that stood out to me is that you first asked what you did wrong. You don't. Only an accountable person would say that. I feel like more times than none, we looking for who to blame. That's something that you and I shared. It's to the point where I would look for what I did wrong so much that I start blaming myself. So how did you take accountability and like take that level of accountability without blaming yourself too much and sabotaging yourself. Because sometimes when you're quick to be like, it's my fault, that was me, which is a good thing. Like, I think that the mindset that you have, how could you speak to that? Like how you balance versus being accountable versus blaming yourself and feeling bad, and how you get yourself out of that?
Yeah. So, it's crazy because I had to go through that to kind of realize what it is now. But in the process, I recognized my faults in it, which was I definitely overtraded. And I overtraded because trades that I would normally win, I wasn't winning. And it just wasn't making any sense for me. So I'm a very determined person. And I'm okay with knowing what the problem is as long as I can figure out the solution. And I couldn't figure it out. And that's because I started to get emotional connected to the because I was frustrated with that, right? Mm-hmm. And so once I came down from my emotions and kind of just analyzed, sat back, that the data tracking those trades is what brought full clarity to me. Like I was telling you before, it's like watching film, right? Mm-hmm. And so you can go back and say, oh, you had a bad game, but then you go back and look at, well, the game wasn't really that bad actually, but I did see where the ref kind of tweaked the game a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So there's some things that I had control over and some things that I didn't have control over. So the part that I'm holding myself accountable for are the things that I had control over that I can improve, and that's not overtrading. So that is the other side of it. So I learned a lot about myself, and also learned a lot about how I can help improve the entire system so that everybody can be successful from a long-term perspective.
Something that was well said. Something else you just said that really like resonated. You said, I'm listening to you and trying to remember the last dope thing you said. You said, oh my God. Okay, you were tracking, while I'm trying to jog my memory, when you were tracking, were you tracking in your Blue Chips Academy journal?
Yes. So I actually, here's was another thing that makes this process of Blue Chips Academy unique. And I'm not just saying that, you know, just because of the actual course, but a lot of traders try to hide behind their results. You see what I'm saying? So when they have good days, oh, let me promote it, let me blast it, whatever, come join whatever they have going on. But when they have this, they shy away, or they try to basically change their narrative. With me, I'm sharing live every single trade that I'm taking. So you're seeing my losses and my wins in real time. And so when you look at that, it's like, okay, I know that this is real. Even though it's not perfect, it's real. And nothing is perfect, of course. But that's attractive to most people because they can understand it. They can trust that process, even if it's not perfect. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah.
I got two things before we move to the flip. I remember what I was going to ask you. You said that when you take accountability, the next step that you do is you look for the things you can control versus the things you can't control. And I wanted to know, is that, as you know, you're a big Capricorn, and I wanted to know, as analytical as you are about yourself and your psychology mindset, do you always think like that? Do you think, is that your process, or did you do this based off of what just happened? Do you go, let me take accountability, and then once I take accountability, let me see what things I change? Because I think that that's such a interesting process. Like, I've never heard nobody, I take accountability and then I look around and then I'm like, okay, I've taken accountability, what can I change? To me, that stood out a lot. And I just wanted to know, is that just who you are, or did you do that based off of the challenging week that you had?
Yeah. So no, that's definitely who I am. I feel like how you are in one thing in life is how you are in every part of your life. So for me, in order to really find the real issue in any situation, not just trading, you have to start with accountability. Because you can be thinking that something is wrong in this situation, pointing the finger or trying to blame this or blame that person, and the whole time is you. Versus, at least when you look at you first, and you really dive into it and you separate your emotions from the situation. Okay, was I really wrong, or could I have done better this? And then once you realize that, it's like, okay, I figured out what I did wrong, but hold on, why? You know what I mean? So now you can see clear on where you stood in the situation, And even if they don't change or whatever the situation don't change, you still have now a floor or a basis to grow from that situation. So you have to start. That's like your foundation. You got to be accountable. That's your foundation to growth.
Okay, I have two. I know I said two things. I know this. I'm really interested in where you're going with this as your mindset. You know, we come to the flip, y'all. Give us a second. But you just said something else. You talked about. Damn, it's so interesting because you're saying a lot, and I'm trying to listen and remember. You just said something about like not blaming anybody. However you worded it, it made me think. We were talking on the phone before we got on the Zoom. And I said to you that, you know, it's amazing because can't nobody blame me for nothing. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that when you trade like every person has, even if you're copy trading, you as a trader have your own trade, right? Now, let me, you know what I have a tendency to do with this episode. Y'all heard it blue chip style, right? So let's put it in real life terms, right?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so let's say it's me, right? Let's say I'm living with some family members, right? And I'm living with my family members, and as something comes up and it affects all of us, and now everybody, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna use you and I. Let's say that me and you go on a trip. We got a Flip Your Chips trip. We going to Dubai, and you and I both have access to the email itinerary for our trip or something like that. And then you thought I was supposed to do it and I thought you were supposed to do it. So when we get to the airport, it hasn't been done. At that point, either one of us could be like, nigga, you ain't send the email. Like, you ain't update your passport. Like, when you do things in tandem, sometimes it's easy to blame who else is, you know, involved in it versus like, and I hope this is making sense to you and the audience versus like, you know, I've heard people say, if you do a crime, do it by yourself. It's less witnesses.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't got nobody to snitch on you. You know that your story is going to stay consistent. And I guess what I'm trying to ask is, I'm trying to remember how you worded it, but however you worded it, it was like, that was on me. But what if you're in an environment and it's not just you? How do you gauge, like, not blaming when it's like, because my homeboy just went through that. He was like, yo, we missed the flight, but it was because of Shorty. How many times do we do something with somebody and we instantly blame that person? Could you speak to that? Does that make sense? Like,
that makes a lot of sense, for sure. So the example you just gave was perfect, right? So at the end of the day, initially human nature is to be like, man, why you ain't do what you, or, you know, we would have been on time if you ain't do whatever, right? But then when you look at, okay, the issue is, let's just say it's a time thing, right? And we had a meeting at 2:00 and I showed up at 2, we showed up together at 2:30. And I'm like, well, you told me it was 2:30 this time and this is whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And so initially it's like, well, you didn't get me that information. But it's like, okay, hold on. It's not just on her to get you the information. You should have verified, because this meeting is just as important to her as it is to you. Yeah. So you should have, if you was on the same page, you should have like, nah, sis, actually, when I looked at it, it was 2:00. So you can't blame, like, when you look at the issue is that we were late. Okay. Yeah. So that's the basis of any problem. You look at what is the main issue. Okay. Once you find what that issue is, okay, how could I have helped this situation? Like, if we could go back into time, how could I have helped this situation or have done better? I could have checked the itinerary over it was. You see what I'm saying? And so now, okay, she might have thought it was this time, and I didn't follow up. So I'm just as accountable as you are, because I didn't do what I was supposed to do. So.
No, I love that, because again, this is you do it. I guess the questions I'm asking you show me your thought process, because I don't think enough of us do that. Like, for example, like with our podcast, like if I just wait on you to text me and be like, are we shooting? It's an exchange. Even when me and you were going back and forth and say, I would never let a week go by being like, NDA hit me. And I think sometimes people don't want to do something and they just let the shit happen, and then
they want to use that to blame. Yeah.
That
was your whole thing in the first place.
Yeah, you was looking for something.
If you ain't want to do it, just say you ain't want to do it.
Yeah,
you know?
I like that. I think that
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, and lastly, I was gonna say, you told me to remind you about something at the top of the episode.
Yeah, I talked about it. It was.
You did? Okay. Okay, all right. I didn't know. I was like,
yeah.
Okay.
Because I'll be thinking about 100 things, and I
didn't know what it was. You said, don't let you forget. I'm trying to remember my new ideas, and I'm like, in the back of my head, like she said, don't forget. I'm like, I don't even know what to remember.
So let's talk about the flip. Okay. First of all, make sure y'all go and check out Taz's song Intentions, because that's what we about to talk about. That's what we got to talk about. So I feel like in order to make profound leaps in your life, you have to live with intention. Like, intention has no space for BS. It has no space for your emotional state or whatever. It's either you get it done or you don't. That's what intention feels like to me. When you think about intention, number one, what does that mean to you? Why is it important? And how has being intentional helped your life?
I might need you to run the questions back when I get past.
Okay, so let's talk about what is intention. Let's start there first.
I got you.
What does that mean?
I'm in love with your body, fucking you like it's a hobby. Even then, nothing gonna stop me. You know you my little mommy.
Hey.
That's sloppy. No, I'm gonna be rocky. Top of the top me. That's intentions right there. That's just a snippet.
Okay, all right.
See what I did there? Okay.
I love it.
Yeah, so
we got to put the link in the description. Go ahead.
Yeah, so y'all can stream that, run that up. One of my best streaming songs. Intentions. So what was my bad? You said what is intentions when I think?
What does that mean to you?
Mm-hmm. Intention is like, I think your mindset is like what you want versus what the environment is showing you. It's like, if I want her, there ain't been nothing in my life that I haven't got that I wanted. I don't care if it was a chick I wanted to bag, if I wanted to meet 50 Cent, if I wanted to meet Jay-Z, if I wanted Sonny Vaccaro to invest in ancestors, if I wanted to study abroad in London. You met me at a very intentional time in my life. I didn't get accepted to Howard University the first time I applied. And I was like, oh, redirections, God's protection, I'm getting in. I think intention is like, wake up and you make up your mind that this, I'm gonna get rich or die trying. Shout out to 50 Cent. Like, I can't wait till again, because I'm definitely gonna be one of the best actresses on one of his hit TV shows. Make sure y'all amp it, put it there. I said it first. Yeah, you feel me? I think a lot of the people, I've heard the quote where intention goes, energy flows. So if you wake up and say, I'm the best, or I make $23,000 a day, I tell myself that, well, I said a month, but a day would be crazy. But like, I've been taught, like, shout out to my life coach, Deborah, speaking your truth and living into your existence. Like, I feel like I talk to myself a lot. Like, I've actually stopped listening to music a lot. Like, throughout the day, you might see me mumbling to myself, like one of them schizophrenic niggas downtown on Skid Row, or a homeless nigga. I'm really like talking to myself on the street. Like, but the intention is like, whatever I say, it's to the point now, I'm so intentional that if I think about a person, I run into them. I see it. I think when you raise your vibration and your faith and your manifestation, intention is how we was moving with ancestors. Going to get the photo shoot. Man, we were moving very intentionally. We had a notebook and we would walk around and be like, yo, these are our designs. I think that the intention is that I'm gonna get rich or die trying. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep putting in intentions is chopping wood and carrying water and not worrying about the order.
That part.
Yeah, I did that. I did that.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm intentional. I'm hurt. I'm loving it.
So give me an example of you, like, of intention in your personal life, and how did that change any circumstance or anything in your life when you were intentional? Like a specific example.
Intention and an example. I think a couple of recent examples is I use this example when it comes to dealing with people. I think sometimes, perfect example. You ever heard someone say, India, why you don't call me? You don't never call me to check on me. First and foremost, don't ever say that shit to me. Like, not like, I don't want to hear it, right? Because over time, like, I've been hit with that so much. I really sat back one day and I was like, when you really break down, that's a dumbass fucking question statement to say. The reason being is that, so to me, you were thinking about me, but you want me to know that I was thinking about you, to pick up the phone to call when you have the power to be intentional and call me.
Yeah.
That's one of the dumbest. You don't ever call to check on me. That means that when you thought about me, you didn't call to check on me. So intentional for me and how I've been moving lately is that I don't give, like, I think a lot of times it's games. I'm not gonna call her because she called me last, or I'm not gonna text her because we do things and we're more reactive than proactive. So sometimes we're doing things in response to somebody. We had an episode about that. Make sure I go check out react versus respond. Yeah, I'm dropping everything today. But I think sometimes we're waiting on another person's move. It's like it's chess. Like, I'm gonna make this move to see. I'm not making, when I make a move, I'm making my move. I don't give a fuck what piece is on the chessboard. This move is getting made, and I don't care how cool I look. Like, if I want to see this person or if I want to do this person, I'm not caught up in the mindset of, I wonder if this person gonna think I'm like, sometimes, let's say you texting. I mean, there are some times, I ain't gonna hold you. There are some people that text a lot and call a lot. I'm not saying like, let me make sure I make this disclaimer. If you dealing with a chick or somebody intimately, I'm not saying if that person's on your mind, I'm gonna call her every 5 minutes. I'm gonna text her every 5 minutes. I'm not saying shit like that. Don't be, I'm intentional.
If you got that type of time, I'm just saying.
Yeah, like that's not, they like, yo, Taz and Indy don't flip your chip, said be intentional. So I'm about to bag this bitch. I'm calling her. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if it's on your mind, then do it because you want to do it, not because of, I think this person is moving like that. Did I answer your question? Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay. And you know, with the third one too, right?
Yes, the third one is leaving me right now, and I have no
Okay.
why.
Well, okay. Well,
but I feel like you kind of answered that in the first one too, though.
I did. Okay. Well, what about yourself though? Like, if you was to, I don't know how to ask you the questions back, or what you have to say in response.
I mean, just
like,
whatever comes to your mind about intentions.
Intentions. What do you think about my song Intentions?
Honestly, I have to listen to it again because you dropped that joint a year ago. So,
no, I didn't mean a year.
Yeah, I know
it's been.
Well,
it's
okay.
May.
Well, then 5 months ago. I'm sorry, my time is all over the place. So yes, I need to listen to it again.
Okay, you know, I got to do a lot of, I'm honestly, you've heard all my unreleased music. You text me every other day, like, nigga, when did you record this?
You be sending me music like back. I be trying to keep up. I'm like, hold on, is this out yet?
Is this new? Is this old?
Yeah. So
no. Okay. So I
mean, you know, I love all your music. So, but to give you a specific feedback, I need
about
to listen to it.
No. Okay. Okay. So okay. Intentions. Okay. What's the last intentional thing you did? Why are you laughing?
Honestly, it was tracking my trades. You know, that was the last, like, really intentional. But the whole time though, I didn't realize how intentional it was until it helped me realize what I needed to fix. You see what I'm saying? Like, it was a habit. Like, I've been doing this since the end of February, like recording all my trades and all of that so everybody can see it. But I didn't realize, like, with those intentional and habitual, you know, practices, that it helped me out way more than what I thought it would. So,
you know, I love that, and I wanted to say I'm a fucking genius because let me tell you something. I think you might have mentioned that you've been tracking, and you did mention that you track your emotional state, the time of the day, the weather. I don't know if it's the weather, but all the things that you like.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the wind's blowing. Like, I'm gonna create right. But yeah, back in January you mentioned this, and I remember just randomly saying, yo, you should make a tracking journal. And then you have a rough week. And then now you have the branded business. I'm so fucking, there's nobody.
Yeah, hold on. I gotta grab it now.
Oh, yes, show us. Come on.
So this is the draft, and it's crazy because of everything that happened this week. I'm like, oh, I know exactly what to put in this joint now. Like, I had a draft, but thanks to Taz, we got a draft of the daily. Hold on. We gotta get the focus.
I think put your face behind
it. There we go. Daily journal, blue chips. There we go. Master your thoughts, master your results. So y'all heard? Look, this is intentional right here. Taz talked about it 2 weeks ago. I was like, this is a great idea.
And you demonstrate.
Come on now, get it done. Yeah.
Come on, and I'm not. Y'all need any marketing services? I do have a marketing agency. Because
please come on now. She's a genius.
I like that because I'm listening to you and I'm not even thinking that the journal was just a great idea, but to actually hear you, and I know how liberating as a business owner that has to be. That I'm tracking in my journal. This ain't me.
This helping me. And so I know
this ain't these niggas. Y'all got basic. Nah, nigga, go to bluechipsacademy.com. Yet, or are we live yet? On the
journal?
Yeah, can people order them yet or no?
Oh no, not live yet. Probably in the next 2 weeks they will be. Okay. I gotta alter a few things and then it'll be live.
Yeah, you see, I'm not gonna hold you. That was incredible. That was very intentional. Man, no, but you know what? We want y'all to be intentional. You know why?
Yeah.
We want y'all to be intentional. We want you to like. We want you to subscribe. Turn on your post notifications. Follow, Flip Your Chips, go to get our merch, and make sure you check out, what is your website? bluechipsacademy.com. And the promo code is
Flip Your Chips.
Flip Your Chips. And make sure you check out my new music video. See, I to mention that.
And we're gonna drop that link in the description. So make sure y'all check that out too.
Check out CKTC.
Be intentional on all levels.
Yes, exactly. Make sure y'all check out CKTC Curiosity Killing the Cat. And after you kill the cat, make sure you stay wet. Get you some water.
I don't know if they go after they see that. We're gonna catch y'all on the next one.
Next one. I love you, sis. Flip your
chips.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I love you, sis.